Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Digital Experience Team iteration release video. This is the iteration that ended on today, April 8th, not March 8th, like some people might believe. So we will kick it off going over what we are releasing this iteration. I believe Tina is up first.
Thanks, Laura. Yeah, so the first thing I wanted to show is that I've skinned the mother template for the events CMS. It's such a mouthful every time I try to say it. I also aligned with the brand team for dates for stage 2 and aligned also with the brand team on dates for branded assets. I've lost track of the video, so I don't know what we're looking at. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so that's the mother template design. I'll move on to the next point now. So I made some headway in reviewing some of the data that I requested for the prospects with the free trial OKR. I also reviewed almost all of the user testing sessions that just ran. So I'm starting to paint a picture, or I guess a flowchart of our users' journeys to the free trial page and getting closer to creating a first iteration user journey, fleshed out user journey, and identifying areas for improvements. Next, we have Tyler.
Thank you. Mother template looks so good. It's so pretty. So first up, just some cleanup. We had a community contribution to remove some capybara tests on the www repo. So this just sort of cleaned up some unused code and like removed some Ruby gems and overall just tidying things up. We have such a great community. It's so cool to like have people who are just like, oh, we'll help you out there. It's great. I love it. So we released that. I bumped some documentation for our slippers release process. So we updated that in Storybook. I also documented some information about Geekbot. Michael fixed that for us last iteration, and then I promptly forgot like how to do the thing. So I was like, oh, cool, I'll document this. So that's in our digital experience handbook now. Up next, I merged in a utility class for the grid for Tina's mother template. And I think it basically matches what we'll need for other grid stuff, but I scoped it specifically for the commit because I know there's other work going on. So I wanted it to be easy to change. In the same vein, I updated the Tailwind configuration for our translate utilities to give us a couple percentages and values that we had been missing. And then I got to sort of the bigger work. So I've got one thing to show, which is the header block. I showed this at the show and tell this morning, and this has the image and video variants as well. So this is sort of the plain version. Plain isn't the right adjective. And then here's the one with the video and image. Yeah, thank you. Cool. And then we don't have to show this one. Benefits block. So also got that out there. And then I didn't write this down, but I have 2 or 3 others that are probably going to make it tomorrow during Focus Day, but like not like out the door today for this release video. So we can just move on to Lauren.
Right. So made a couple slippers contributions. One that got launched was the CTA component for the event template. I suspect there will be further iterations on this when we put them all together and actually build the event template. I have another one that I also think will get shipped tomorrow during Focus Day. Have a couple more things to do there, and that's the event cards. And yeah, we'll show the review app for this one. And these are the event cards that'll go on the template. Almost done there, not quite. Then we had a Bruce author attribution error for our blog template. Got that patched up beginning of this iteration. I added a blog category component to slippers and then also to our www repo so that users can navigate back to the category of a blog post. That was something that we missed during that quick iteration of launching that blog post. We had a community contribution to remove rollup from our local build. So that was super cool. Got that out there. And then a couple handbook contributions for a Netlify CMS documentation. The first one is how to find a draft when it goes missing from the review. The workflow tab, super frustrating. So some docs on how to find that secret link. And then I noticed that sometimes branches aren't deleted after they're merged with master. So as a stopgap solution, I'm just going to go through at the end of every iteration cycle and delete those branches. And we'll try to dive in there a little deeper. I also verified that publishing from Netlify CMS admin does add it to the merge train and doesn't mess it up. So that's cool. I attempted to enable the deploy preview links for Netlify CMS. So I just wanted to call out, like, made a shot at it, deployed it, didn't work. So we're going to keep on working on that. But there is that functionality and can't wait to get that live. We will pass it over to Jess.
Sorry, I got the spinning wheel of death for a second there. So I think the first thing I have is the navigation, but that's not, I didn't really do any design updates. It's more of just we finally got the final copy all in there, made it pretty and sent it off to Javi. So that's done. And then the second thing, I've been in my cave again doing research, and I just finished putting all the highlight reels and stuff together like a minute before this meeting. So I'll put that in Slack in a second, but got some really great observations on the free trial page. Did a little double duty on this one. Actually started with the home page and we did the product DevOps page leading into the free trial since we were going to do the research anyway. So we have kind of like bonus research material for future iterations. Is it Laura? Is that next?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Just a quick shout. When you say you're like in your cave doing your research, I think of like the detective shows where they got the photos up on the board and the strings and, you know, so hopefully that's what you're doing. So I did a few contributions to Slippers also for the events template. So a few of these are still in review and a few of them are live. This first one is kind of a generic list component. So if you've got copy with, you know, reasons for attending this conference or important dates or whatever, you can swap out icons and text in there. So that's in review. Yeah, the connect block is like the contact us kind of thing, sign up with a little input situation going on. So that I believe is also in review. And yeah, the announcement block, I think this one is like in production or it's live, ready to use, which is a fairly simple component just for this example, code of conduct or other kind of announcement pieces. And yeah, I have another partners block, which is also in review. I don't know, these are a lot of things. This is showing like sponsors, for example, in different tiers. So you can add them based on tier components. And I also made a small handbook contribution. There were some questions around how often internal agency day is now that we're kind of aligned on the same iteration cycle, both of our working groups. And so I put it in our digital experience handbook page. It's a really quick, just a little blurb. So if anyone wants to edit how that sounds or wherever we get internal agency requests or whatever, feel free to iterate on that. So that's all for me. I don't know if Sami has joined the call.
I can vocalize for him. I don't see
Perfect.
him in chat. Yeah.
Perfect.
He signed this to me for a review, so I've been looking at it. But this is his big thing is all the cards, and he showed this in show and tell. So there's a story to see all of them, and then you can view them individually. So this is great and a good step towards one, drawing up some existing components, and then two, should be able to also, you know, use this and extend it for additional components. So yeah. And then up next is Javi.
This is me. I'm working on some stuff for navigation. I'm trying to see if there's anything in particular, like implementation wise, that I need to call out. let me move Tyler over here. I think one thing that I kind of want to call out in particular is that like I'm showing and hiding like both of these, like essentially like I have a mobile nav, and then like at the medium breakpoint it switches to the desktop nav, which is just like I don't know how I feel about that, but that's like the way that you get it to work, especially because the navs are somewhat different. Something that I did want to bring up is that Jess and I wanted to have like maybe like possibly a third like tablet size navigation, just because we get like once you get to like the medium breakpoint, there's like a weird point where it's like this doesn't fit, if that makes sense. So that's something that we may do in the future, but for now this is working just fine. Yeah, I think that's it. Up next we have Steven.
That's me. So I've been working pretty heavily on my OKR, as I'm the DRI on that. So I've done some decision trees with some sort of hypothesis. We've got a value matrix created as well. Just figuring out what way we want to divide and conquer this issue, which is actually getting pretty big. Reviewing different ways users access the content. So some are white papers, some are webcasts, some are blog articles, some are external links. So trying to figure out what we need to do with those. And then there's another issue, excuse me, that's related to features, which can be found here. So there might be an overlap with that as well. Yeah, pretty much it. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks everyone for sharing, and we'll see you all next time.